Hey, what's up? I'm Giulio Miglietta and I designed and embroidered this capsule collection for Ironheart and Dies magazine. In this video I'm going to show you how you can stitch the front patch over your Ironheart vest. Stitching is pretty simple and we start with positioning the patch on the jacket. You can choose where you like it on the vest, just out here or just out here for example. Just be mindful of what's on the other side of the vest. If there is a pocket, you want to make sure that you're aware of its positioning at all times because you don't want to seal the pocket shut. For this example, I'm going to sew the patch just here, just above the pocket, a little bit symmetric so I can see if I'm using the collar a bit open. And to make sure that the patch is secured while you're actually stitching the patch, you want to make sure that you put either a pin, if you have one, you just pin it across and you literally make sure that it's secured on the denim. Alternatively, you can cut a little bit of Scotch tape. You can make a double section and you just make a cross, one and one. That way the patch is not going to be going on each side. It's just going to be sitting there. Now I'm going to show you the thread section and how to work that out. I want you to grab your thread and just extend it to about 60 centimeters, about 24 inches. You're going to double it up, okay? You can cut a section of it and this is your thread. Now once you grab your needle and one end of the thread and insert it through the hole. It might be a little bit difficult, but you just have to wet the tiny bit at the end or just make sure to flatten it with your hands, okay? So you're going to pass it through, all the way through, and just seal it like that. Secure this knot. Like this. You're going to have a little bit more towards the end, you see? It's a little bit like this. It's totally fine. Here's your knot. I just want you to cut a tiny bit at the end. Stuff like this. For this sewing tutorial, I'm going to show you a technique. It's called backstitch. Just want you to consider this is a hole, this is the thread, and that's where the needle is going to come out. It's going to make much more sense as I go through the process, okay? So let's start with our needle. Our knot is going to be on the other end. Great. And we're going to make sure that the patch is nice and secure. We start from the inside and we pierce through the hole. We want to make sure that we catch the patch on the other end. You're going to see in a second. So I'm going through the hole, say it on the bottom. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm creating little sections, so of about 3 millimeter, 3.5, something like that. You can get these sections as long as you like. You can see the knot is just on the inside. Can you see it? The little loop is going to be like that. I'm basically going back inside and I'm actually going to fish that hook. Fishing that hook and I'm going to, that's it. Okay, so this is nice and secure. It's gone back into itself. And then I'm going to do again 3 millimeters, but I'm going away. Okay, so again 3 millimeters. And I'm going from outside. This is going to make sense to you in a minute. Okay, if you see just here, I don't know if you can see in the camera, I basically created the first section and then I'm coming out of the stitch. Okay, let's hold the needle this way. So I'm basically trying to go back into the last hole that I made. And this is the diagram. This is exactly what is happening. So the needle is going back into that hole, the last hole that I made. I'm going to start again and show you. So here it's going back inside. I'm going to do from the other side so you're able to see it. Let's tidy this up. Okay. You want to apply a little bit of tension, but not too much, okay? Right, so this is nice and neat. Going back inside, 3 millimeters away. You'll see in a second, okay? And I'm going through the last hole. You see? Through the last hole. And I'm basically carrying on this way. Nice and neat. I'm going to go again 3 millimeters away through the hole. I'm getting the knack of it. It's getting much faster. I'm always making sure that I'm aware of what's on the other side, okay? So right here, there's nothing inside, but if you're doing it on the pocket, you will have to make sure that the pocket is not sealed shut. That's very, very important, otherwise you're not going to be able to use those pockets. Right, I'm just gonna carry on and do a few more stitches so you can actually see what it looks like from inside and from outside. Going back into the last hole, 3 millimeters away from the inside, you see it, 3 millimeters away. I'm back inside through that last hole. Okay, let's do one last and I'll show you how to secure your knot. You will secure your knot in two instances. One is when you finish the patch, and that's great, but also when you are finished with thread section. So let's say that I'm just about to finish with how much thread I've got in my hand, and I want to, I just want to make sure that I sealed that hole. So I'll finish my thread like that. I'm gonna go inside the first hole exactly like I did. I'm gonna go on the other side. You can see this is essentially what it's going to look like. It's a little messy, but it just goes in a line. So here is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to pull the needle and I'm going to make a knot, exactly how I made, my first knot when I created the thread section. I'm going to make several knots. I'm actually going to make up to 4 knots. You can start seeing it here. Can you see it? I want to make it quite thick enough so that it doesn't get pulled from the other side. And the third, I'm going to do the 4th one. Okay, you might not see it now, but it's going to make sense in a minute. Can you see it? It's just here. You see it? Okay, so I'm remaining with this little bit of section. What I'm going to do is I'm going through the fabric again, but on the inner side, okay? So essentially I'm going inside like this, towards the patch. The patch is actually not getting pierced anywhere. It's just the fabric in between the patch. So this whole area, just here, is going to be the area that I'm interested in. Going through that, making sure that I pull the knot. Okay, so I've got, you see this little thread like this? I'm going to make again 4 knots. 4 knots, hopefully you can see in a second. It's quite awkward, but I'm just going to do it very fast and you can see it. On my second knot, you can see I'm going to do 2 more. Okay, and you can see, right, 4 knots. What I want to make sure is just now I go with my scissors and I snap some of it. So right now I'm going to have this knot and this knot. The patch is going to be absolutely secure. It's not going anywhere. This little bit of section is not going anywhere. And can you see the section? Nice and neat. In this particular instance, I'm using a back stitch, but you can actually loop it if you like. You can find it on internet. You can also use a black stitch instead of the cream, or a red stitch if you fancy. You can go and find some. Just make it as you'd like to see it. Enjoy it.